Welcome back to Unlimited Reads. You're with Chris, and thanks for joining me today for another random reading check-in, which is a format that has been working really well for me now. It has been a little while between updates because life has been pretty hectic and I haven't been putting out as much content as I would like, but I have been reading a heap of stuff. Now, I'd ended up finishing Doctor Who and the Seeds of Doom, which was a Target novelisation, which I had a lot of fun with. They're very quick reads and they're a lot of fun, and it took me no time at all. I think it ended up being one sitting before I finished it, which was really fun. There was a novella I also read which was called Rest Stop by Nat Cassidy, which was really interesting. It was 128 pages and it really messed with my head. It was about a chap who was on his way to meet with his brother at the bedside of his grandmother, I think, and on his way he stops at a rest stop convenience store and comes head to head with a maniacal killer. But things just started getting really weird, and it was my first Nat Cassidy work that I have read, and I just found it a little bit weird and messed with my head. It was a real eye-opener, but didn't know what to expect because I hadn't read his work before, but it was just overall weird and left me feeling creepy afterwards. So there you go. I also finished the very short non-fiction title Night by Eli Wiesel, the 1986 Nobel Peace Prize winner. This was a really frank and graphic account of his time in the Auschwitz camps, and was very confronting and very interesting as well to hear about his ordeal there, which it's important to know about, and it's one of probably the most darkest chapter in human history in my opinion. So that didn't take me too long to read at all. Now, I did finish The Boy in the Dress, which I mentioned in the last update, by David Walliams, who is a hugely successful children's author. On my plans for 2025, I do plan on reading a lot of middle grade stuff, and this was kind of like a non-official read what you own challenge to me, so I went on a bit of a David Walliams binge over the last couple of weeks, and so I ended up smashing through Mr. Stink, which was a lot of fun, and Billionaire Boy, and I read Gangster Granny, which was really cool as well. I've been having a lot of fun with these. They're pretty much single sitting reads. They're very easy to read and very low commitment, and these are what I class as really good palate cleansers, and I didn't realise that I was actually craving these after being burnt out with the fantasy genre. And I also read Rat Burger, which was funny, and I also read Demon Dentist, which is probably one of the David Walliams books that has some real horror elements to it, so I especially enjoyed this one, as you can imagine, being a bit of a horror buff. But they're a lot of fun. They read very quickly. They've got pictures as well, which is always good. But looking on reading a lot more middle grade this year. I'm probably going to look at the Famous Five. I'm going to look at finishing Skullduggery Pleasant. I'm going to read the Inkheart trilogy. I'm also going to read Percy Jackson as well, because I've been putting it off for far too long. I have had the books lying around for a little while after buying them, and they just have to be read. So I should be able to mow through quite a few books this year. And of course I read and finished Defense Protocol, the latest Jack Ryan book from Andrews and Wilson. So my thoughts on this one, I'm not sure if I'm going to review it on the channel yet. I haven't felt like doing reviews as such on the channel, with things happening in the personal life and just life in general being hectic. But with this one, I would have to say it's not as good as Act of Defiance, which is the previous book by Andrews and Wilson. It was good, but it tended to lack something to me. And as for what I'm reading right now, up on John's recommendation from Talking Story, I finally got around to picking up The Tomb by F. Paul Wilson, the first Repairman Jack novel. I am about 150 pages in so far, and I absolutely enjoying the hell out of it. Repairman Jack is a really good, well-rounded character. He's tough as nails, but he does have his vulnerabilities as well, which are always qualities I'm looking for in a really good character. And can't wait to share my thoughts with you on this one. Absolutely loving it. I'm so glad I picked it up. Thank you, John, for the recommendation, and can't wait to get to the finish line on this one, because there is a bit of a supernatural element here in the book, which is really interesting. And yeah, just can't get enough of it, and I should be finished this one by this coming weekend. So yeah, really enjoying that. And I've also started, I'm actually two-timing at the moment, which is very rare for me, but I've also picked up my next David Walliams read called Awful Auntie, which is a lot of fun at the moment as well. So I'm going to talk more about all these books in my monthly wrap-up, which is coming up soon. Now soon I'll also be filming my reading possibilities for February. It was going to be originally all about Frida McFadden with a readathon on all her books, but my tastes have changed a little bit, my mood changes, so being a mood reader, I'm going to change that up a little bit, not do the readathon as such, but I will include a couple of her books in February, because there are other things I really want to read as well. Because if I like Repairman Jack like I am, I might actually pick up the second book. So going to pick up a bit more middle grade as well, and just include some variety there. So there you go, guys. That is it for another random reading check-in. Thank you very much for watching. If you like my videos, please consider subscribing. Help me get to that 1,000 subscriber mark, where I will be doing a drunk Q&A live stream celebration for achieving that milestone. But until the next video, guys, happy reading.